So what are the priorities for you after today and what we heard from the speakers in the conference?
Well, first of all, what we heard today was tremendous support for what the Board of Peace is trying to do in Gaza. Not just in terms of political statements, but in terms of financial commitments as well to support the people of Gaza in this first stage, which is just the humanitarian stage, the early recovery stage. I'm not talking about the big reconstruction that needs to happen. My priority right now is going to be three things. First is to create the conditions for which the National Committee of Dr. Shat and the Palestinian Technical Committee is able to go into Gaza and take control of governance there. Now, for that to happen, it requires, of course, some conditions to be met. One is that we need to understand exactly what they're going to be taking over in Gaza in terms of the institutions, what is there, the people, the civil service. Secondly, it requires that the ceasefire not be violated by anyone. And thirdly, of course, it requires that we have some financing as of today, because we need to show people that as soon as the committee is in, they're able to help the difficulties that they face on a daily basis right now. The second track is the process of making sure that all militant groups in Gaza are disbanded and weapons decommissioned in order to be able to allow for the Gaza Strip to be reunited in one. Because now Gaza is split.
Right.
You have one Gaza, a yellow line, and a second Gaza. And the longer this situation persists, the more difficult it will become to see Israeli withdrawal as well. And to get the Israeli withdrawal, we need civil governance in Gaza, we need the decommissioning of weapons. So I think these are the two main areas where we will focus. And thirdly, of course, is the creation of the International Stabilization Force.
So why Mr. Shat has not been able to go there? Is it because the circumstances on the ground is not ready yet? Is that the reason he is unable to enter with his team?
No, it's not that he hasn't been unable to enter. It's because we need to prepare things for him to be able to enter in an appropriate way. You saw today was the first time that we have the financial commitments made. We begin the process of recruitment for the new Palestinian security force. We have agreements with Egypt that we put in place. We started these discussions. This is not a one government leaves and another government comes in. It's far more complicated than that. So that's why we need to make sure that the process is well prepared and done in a timely manner.
As you know, the UN estimating that Gaza needs $70 billion to something like this figure to be reconstructed. We're talking about 17 billion today. Maybe the number will go later in Norway or elsewhere. But are you confident that donor countries will send this money for reconstruction in a short period of time for Gaza people to see the effects on the ground?
What I want to see is donors to send money now so that we can relieve the suffering of the people in Gaza. The reconstruction of Gaza needs to be done in a different way, because what has been done in the past until now is that one country builds a hospital, another country builds a school, but really the conditions are always very difficult for people. What we need is a new plan for how to really redevelop Gaza, if you wish, in a way that it allows the Palestinian economy of Gaza to flourish, and it allows people to have, not just some normalcy, but have a normal life. And for this, we need a very different approach in how reconstruction will be done in Gaza than what has been done in the past. I think, we will get to that stage, but now we're at the stage, the first phase, if you wish, which is really the humanitarian situation, the emergency needs that are necessary, and the institution of governance, so that we can get to this point which I spoke about earlier, where Israel withdraws and you have one Gaza. Because what reconstruction can you do unless you have one Gaza? Everything you do until then is temporary.
Just one final question, because you have to go. About the UNRWA, the Israelis and the US has been putting them aside. They don't want them to take any part in Gaza. Is the UN able to do something similar to the structure of UNRWA or reinstate UNRWA as a major donor for Palestine?
I know the UN very well, I think, and I'm convinced that there are a number of very, very good agencies within the United Nations system who have been critical to Gaza and who will continue to work forward. We've had very good meetings in the last few weeks with UNDP, with UNOPS, with the World Health Organization, World Food Program, many others. And their work has been critical in sustaining Gaza's in the past. But what we now want is a partnership that actually helps build a new Gaza. A Gaza in which doesn't need humanitarian aid constantly. A Gaza that is not a drain on international donors for years and years. Because, you know, with all due respect, I've been to Gaza many times. I know the whole strip quite well. And I know the entrepreneurial spirit of the people there. Notwithstanding the occupation or Hamas or war or destruction, these people are the driving engine of the Palestinian economy. Why should we keep them on humanitarian aid and not give them the opportunity to thrive?